In this video, I'm finally pulling back the curtain on a project I've been working on for nearly an entire year. For those who don't know, I'm making my own wrestling company, and one thing every wrestling company needs is a wrestling ring. Today, we're taking an in-depth look at exactly what goes into purchasing and setting up your own wrestling ring. But before we get there, let's take us back to the beginning of our momentous day. Hello, my beautiful creatures. It's your demon queen, the Hellcat, the British Andre, the Devil's Secretary, the Duchess of the Damned, also known as Succubus. And I bought a wrestling ring. Yep, bought a wrestling ring. Interesting fact, it takes a long time to build a wrestling ring. It's not like they have like a factory that automatically does these things in like, 10 minutes flat. A lot of people won't know this, but it takes a long time to build a wrestling ring. Like sometimes it takes about a year to build a wrestling ring. So I actually bought this last year, and today it's finally here. So I'm very excited to check that out and see what it looks like when it's all set up. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually building my own wrestling company right now, thus the wrestling ring. So yeah, super excited. I'm gonna head down to the unit today. Yeah, we're heading down to the Nebula unit. I guess this is technically like our first Nebula YouTube video. You can see my Nebula neon sign over there, right next to the Hoover, which is great. Probably could have moved that before I started recording, but oh well. But the wrestling ring that I purchased was made by Wrestling Rings UK, so shout out to those guys. I've been around a lot of wrestling rings, and I've helped set up quite a few, and just to know that I'm about to be setting up one that is mine, like I actually own it, is it's an interesting feeling. But I'm super excited to get that in there because there are so many other things that I want to do. Because when I started renting this facility, there's a lot of things when it comes to the lighting and where some of the pads are gonna go, and just the whole layout of everything is it's been hard to tell where all that stuff is gonna go because we haven't had the centerpiece, we haven't had the wrestling ring. So today that will change. We're gonna have a wrestling ring. It's a huge step forward. We've been working so hard on this thing for nearly a year now. I think August was when the idea first came about, and when we first kind of started thinking about ideas and if this is possible, is it gonna work, how are we gonna do it? And yeah, now we've finally gotten to this stage and it's awesome. And yeah, so I'm gonna head down to the Nebula facility and just get things a little bit set up prior to the ring arriving. So yeah, I guess we'll get a move on, and I'll see you guys in a bit. And here we are at the unit. Things are a little bit dusty right now. We've had some a bit of work done recently, but yeah, we're just waiting for the ring at the moment. Shouldn't be too long now, and yeah, it should be an interesting process setting that up, and finally it'll just begin to feel like an actual wrestling facility, which would be super awesome. Very much excited, and I'll keep you guys updated as we go. All right, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so as you can see, the ring has arrived and we are now unloading the van and just kind of laying things out with help from the neighbors. So shout out to you guys, thank you very much. Shout out to everybody actually for helping us set this thing up. You can see me right here just trying to work out how far we want the ring to be from the wall. Here are all the pieces assembled for the ring, which is super awesome. And something that's really cool that I didn't know that we would be able to do is to be able to set up the ring where we would be able to walk around the entire ring. I thought that we would have to push the ring right up against the wall, but it turns out no, we actually had enough space so we can walk all the way around, which is super awesome. Right here you can see me questioning Ethan to see what he thinks about the ring placement and if this is definitely where we want it to be, because once we start putting the rest of the boards on top and everything, the ring's not going to be so easy to move. So now is a good time to decide for sure if this is exactly where we want the ring. So here you can see we're just kind of measuring things up and seeing if it's even the whole way around. And yeah, I think we decided that this was good and this would work for Nebula. So yeah, super awesome. Always good to get other people's opinion when it comes to these things, because once this ring is set up, it's going to be pretty much impossible to move without taking the whole thing down. I was pretty happy with the placement, so we decided to go ahead from here and continue building up the rest of the ring. You can always tell when I'm in my business mode whenever I'm wearing my little cap. It's usually on those days days where I just need to get stuff done, get things sorted. I can't be bothered with doing my hair. It's just like, nope, I just need to take charge and make sure that this thing gets done and that it's done the way that I want, because I'm kind of like particular about certain things. You can see right here I'm asking Ethan if he thinks he can springboard from the corner and hit the support beam, which is a little bit low, but not low enough where it should be a problem. I'm sure there's a few people who have noticed the low hanging light above the ring, but don't worry about that, we'll discuss it later. At this point we've nearly finished the outer frame of the ring, which is super duper cool. I'm sure plenty of people have noted that we've been working on this thing for nearly a year. It was last August when the plans first started coming together, so it's actually kind of wild considering that I debuted as Succubus last year in September. So even before I debuted as Succubus, I was already working on Nebula, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. I remember when I first made the Nebula logo in my kitchen on my phone. Yes, I made the logo myself, I designed it, and it's super cool to see that it just started with something so simple, and now like here we are setting up our own ring, and we've got this neon sign, and we've just got all this stuff going on, all this hard work. I think one of the most difficult things about setting up Nebula was just finding a place that was suitable to start a wrestling company. It was very difficult finding a place that was big enough and was also within our budgets, but I'm really grateful that we found this place and that it's so close to where I live. It takes me about a 15-minute walk to get here, which is very, very convenient. Yeah, just so much hard work has been put into this building already, just painting the whole place and doing the floor. It's definitely been a lot of hard work, and right here you can see the guys just putting the boards on, which is a part where I'm pretty much useless because the boards are way too big and way too awkward for me to carry. So I decided to head over to our neighbor who owns a cafe, which is also very convenient, just to grab a couple of cold drinks for the guys setting up the ring. Approaching like the warmest day. And now we've got all the boards on, which is great. This is probably quite an interesting sight if you are a wrestling fan. You've always been curious what it is exactly that we're landing on. Yeah, it's wood. It's wood on top of metal beams, and then there's a thin layer of padding that goes on top of that. But yeah, there's really no way to fake this stuff. Like, you're really landing on your back on this stuff. And now we're about to start the next step of setting up the ring, which is putting on the ropes, which is something that I don't really have a whole lot of experience with. So it was good for me to learn these things, especially considering that I'm probably going to be doing this a lot now that I own my very own wrestling company. Something I did learn very quickly is that when you're attaching the final corner to the ring post and all the rest are already done, it's very difficult. Actually, it's impossible. There's no way for me to do this. I wish somebody would have told me that sooner. But yeah, so right here we're doing the bottom rope. You always do the bottom rope first whenever it comes to putting the ropes on or attaching them or tightening them up, I should say. So yeah, we needed help. We needed the ratchet to attach that final corner, and I think we needed that every time we did like the final corner of each of the set of ropes. So yeah. We're gonna move that light, by the way. For those of you that are concerned, it'll definitely be moved. Don't worry. Leave it there as a special precaution. Mm-hmm. So yeah, now we've got all of the ropes attached to the ring post, and we're going to move on to the next part of setting this whole thing up, which is also probably my favorite part, which is taping up the ropes. This is also another thing that I've never done before. So you can see Martin here just explains to me the best way to tape them up, which is great. And honestly, this part was so fun for me. This is probably because it was like the easy part, but it's one of those things that is like, you know, it's the Nebula colors. So it's like super cool in that sense as well. I'm about to get real serious in a moment because I'm about to take these boots off as we continue taping up these ropes. But yeah, this was super great because adding the rope color it was just adding that extra bit of personality and our own branding because it's our colors. Green and purple obviously matching the Nebula logo.
He's so slow, Mackenzie.
Yeah, thanks for the comment there, Julia. That was real helpful. But yeah, as you can see, getting back to the ring, we've got all the ropes taped up now. We've also put down a little bit of padding, which is great. And I'll be honest, we were pretty excited to just get in there and test out the ring a little bit. You can see me there doing a little break fall. For those of you wrestling nerds out there that are wondering how big this ring actually is, it is an 18-foot ring. I think most of the rings that I've been in are about 16 foot, with the biggest ring I've been in being a 20-foot ring, and 18 for me is just kind of that sweet spot for like a bunch of different reasons. It's just what I prefer. I feel like a 16-foot is just a little bit too small. You don't really have space to do certain things, or as much space as what you would probably like. And on the opposite end, I feel like a 20-foot ring is just a little bit too big, and it really doesn't feel great to hit the ropes. But once again, huge shout out to Wrestling Rings UK who provided this ring for us. They were absolutely fantastic. They've got their own website if you want to check that out, if you for some reason want to purchase your own wrestling ring. I think they also do a bunch of like ring equipment, so definitely worth checking that out if ever you need that kind of thing. And here you can see me and Ethan just having a little bit of a play around in the ring, doing a few rolls and stuff, which was super duper fun. Hey guys, so here we are in the middle of the ring. You'll probably notice that we haven't quite finished. We still got the canvas to put on, as well as the turnbuckle pads right there, and also the ring apron to put on as well. But there's been a slight delay with that stuff. I think some of it was supposed to arrive today, but it didn't, but that's fine. It should be arriving early next week. Today was a massive effort, massive team effort by a lot of people. Huge shout out to Wrestling Rings UK who provided the ring for us and also helped set it up. Huge shout out as well to our neighbors and my assistant, and also Ethan from PPW. Everyone just really helped us out a lot today, and yeah, we certainly needed it because this was obviously a very big job. Yeah, it's crazy to like be sat in the middle of this ring right now and it's actually here, like it's actually set up. It's kind of wild. The place is still a little bit of a mess, so I'm gonna have to go around and give it a bit of a sweep. But that's totally fine. But yeah, it's awesome. The ring feels really good to run in and stuff. But yeah, now it's just a matter of adding those finishing touches, and it should look really, really good once that's done. Still a lot of things to do. I know it kind of probably looks like, oh, like we're ready to go, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We've got to redo all the lighting in here. Owning my own wrestling company has been like the biggest thing I've ever worked on. It's absolutely nuts that I've actually been able to do this, and yeah, I think the future is just looking very hopeful for us. I can't wait for all of our future students to come down to this ring and be hitting these ropes and running across these floors. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be wild. So super looking forward to that. I'll probably keep you guys updated for like what we do with Nebula moving forward. We've got all of our Nebula socials now, so if you just type in like Nebula Wrestling on Instagram or X, YouTube, TikTok, we'll probably be on all of those things. And if you're interested in coming down and wrestling here yourself, we're based in Nottingham. Feel free to shoot me a message and I'll be happy to get back to you and give you any information you need. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog. If you want to continue watching me on my wrestling journey, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. I'm out of here. We're done. Finished. Capiche?